Hi all, it's Teresa in Gemma's house. Well, there've been a few changes in my backyard since I hurriedly put some landscaping on the bare dirt before the rainy season started a few months ago. And now I have to make quite a few revisions. Okay, so if you happen to see my video of my yard work before our rainy season started, you will see that I put a lot of artificial turf and gravel down on the dirt in my new backyard so that Gemma and I aren't constantly getting muddy feet when we're out here. And I just laid the artificial turf and the gravel right down on the dirt. I didn't want to take the time, and I don't think I even thought to put weed barrier down first. On this side of the yard, I used a different artificial turf, and this artificial turf is actually very nice because it acts as a barrier. It has a rubber backing that prevents weeds from growing, so that's very nice. On this side of the house, I didn't do anything. I just put a little gate up so Gemma couldn't get back here. And in 4 months' time, I have a little jungle growing here. I didn't think much of anything was going to grow on this really hard clay soil that we have here. And you might be able to see where these landscape drain lines were placed, that after the rains, the soil wasn't as compressed there and it sunk a little. So it gave me an idea to design kind of like a dry riverbed along those drain lines. I'll just dig a little further down. And I've been collecting beautiful field stones and river rocks to use in that design. So I'm excited to start working on that project soon. I started digging some holes where I'm going to plant trees. And as you can see, while all the rain was continuing, they didn't drain very well because of this hard clay soil we have. And it's so funny, after I threw this certain brand of birdseed down on the ground, and then it started raining so much, it just sprouted into this grass, even on the artificial turf where I had thrown the birdseed. And this is what I wanted to avoid, having any real grass that I had to maintain or cut or water. Even though it looks pretty, I just don't want the maintenance of real grass. And I have all these weeds sprouting on my gravel. I had such tall grass and weeds on this side of the house. This grass was like 18 inches high. And I don't know where it came from, but it continued to sprout the more and more rain we had. So, was this a major landscaping failure? I prefer to go with the more positive perspective that it was a good learning experience of what will work and what doesn't. So I have a lot of revisions to make. So that this project doesn't feel so overwhelming, I'm just going to do one section of the yard at a time, and I'm starting over on this side of the house. I'm going to pull all of these weeds and grass, and luckily they came out pretty easily in big clumps. And I just saved all of it in buckets, and I dumped it in one corner of my yard where I want to build up the soil over there where I'll be planting trees soon. So the first thing I want to do is on this side of the house, I want to level out this artificial turf. When it rained, all of the water collected down into the middle, which is what it was supposed to do, drain away from the house, but it wasn't easy to walk on and it was pretty soggy. So since I have to rake all of the gravel off of this dirt here, I'll just rake all of the gravel into the middle section underneath the artificial turf to level it out. And that will still keep the correct ground slopes for adequate drainage. And I won't waste any of this gravel. I'll use the more coarse gravel first in the middle section, and then I'll fill in with the smaller gravel, and then I'll layer some sand on top of it. That should make it much easier to walk on, and it will drain really nicely, and it won't get all soggy when it rains. Okay, so I put the weed barrier fabric down, and I'll be putting gravel on top of this. And already it's looking so much neater, and hopefully no weeds will be getting through this. So now comes the task of putting this sand on top of the gravel underneath the artificial turf. I bought 10 50-pound bags of all-purpose sand, and I'm just leveling it first with using a rake and then with a broom. And the rain should still drain into the middle section underneath the gravel and continue down to the drain that is in the backyard. The artificial turf won't be all soggy in the middle then. And already this is so much nicer to walk on. And Gemma approves of it too. She has to, of course, check out the gravel area as well to see if she approves, and I think she does. So at the rock yard, I ended up getting 2 different kinds of gravel, gold rock gravel and red lava gravel, and I mixed the 2 of them together because I like that for a little bit of variety. The red lava gravel turns a really pretty shade of reddish pink when it gets wet. And this gravel is all wet still because we've been having rain again off and on today and last night. And of course I always love to use river rocks as borders. So I got a couple bags of those when I was at the rock yard too. I just love them. And they're a nice contrast beside these more angular field stones. When I was at the rock yard, I picked up some more of these beautiful flagstone stepping stones. And in this area, this is going to be the next phase of my project. After I rake up all of this gravel here, I'll put the weed barrier fabric down and put those stepping stones and some more gravel so it's much easier to walk on this pathway. And up near the fence in this corner of the yard, underneath these potted plants, I think I might put some more artificial turf down to make it look nice and neat and to prevent the weeds from growing. And it's pretty easy to lay that artificial turf. So hopefully you got some ideas that you can use in your own house and yard. And if I can ask you to please check my main Gemma's House channel page, because there are so many other projects that I do, and you might find another video that you're interested in watching as well. So again, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate the viewer support. Bye-bye.